What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Diesel Creek. My name's Matt. It is a windy, wet, and wonderful day here in western Pennsylvania. It is December and it is cold and that wind just cuts right through you, but regardless, that doesn't mean that we don't have things that need done. So I actually got my engine drive welder on the back of the truck here, and we are headed up to my buddy's house to fab up a ROPS for my Cat 977 that has been absent from the channel for a while. Anyways, I'm sure it's not going to be a good time for me, but figure you guys might want to join along. I'm sure it'll be fun for you guys. Hopefully you're watching this someplace warmer. Today's video sponsor is going to be Omaze. Omaze gives away one-of-a-kind prizes and experience while donating money to chosen charities all across the world. Their sustainable approach to fundraising means that nonprofits can spend less time and money raising funds and instead focus on serving the needs of their communities. If you go to omaze.com/dieselcreek right now, you can enter for your chance to win a Can-Am Maverick X3 and a Chevy Tahoe Z71 to tow it with. In doing so, you're going to be helping support the Boys and Girls Club of America, a great cause. That's omaze.com/dieselcreek. So the 2021 Can-Am Maverick X3 Max RS Turbo RR with smart shocks. Boy, that's a mouthful. It's four-wheel drive with lockable front differential and smart lock technology, and it's got a Rotax engine boasting 195 horsepower. Also, to pull it, you're going to be getting a 2021 Chevy Tahoe Z71 featuring 355 horsepower, 20-inch Fuel Rebel wheels, Toyo Open Country MT tires, rough country suspension and leveling kit. It's got hill descent control, 25 cubic feet of cargo space, and it's also got a panoramic sunroof and a 10.2-inch infotainment screen. So once again, for your chance to win all that and help out a good cause, go to omaze.com/dieselcreek. Well, there she is. I've had a few people ask about it, but really, most people haven't even noticed it ain't been here. But yeah, old Greta's been resting over here at my buddy's place. He's trying to use it to do some clearing, but without some grouser tracks and a ROPS, it's kind of a dangerous proposition. So we're gonna fix all that today, I think. All right, so the 977 has been resting for a little bit, and the batteries are not the best to begin with. So yeah, we're gonna throw the charger on these things, and hopefully we can get her to pop off for us. Well, I forgot to turn the camera on like an idiot. Well, we got it running. One of the batteries went bad, so I had to sub in this battery. That'll be all right. We'll let her warm up here a few minutes and drive it over where we're going to be working. All right, we got her over here where we can work on her now, up on the hard pack out of the mud. But the plan is here, we're gonna build us a rollover protection cage for this thing, because Buddy wants to be doing some tree clearing, and pretty dangerous because branch snaps off or top snaps out of a tree or something, and come right back and squish you like a bug. So we'll put a roll cage on this thing to protect him from the limbs, and in case he would decide to upset it. And then the other thing we're going to be doing is we're going to weld some cleats onto these street pads so that he can get a little bit of traction on a hillside, because if it's dry out, it's workable, but it's not going to be dry until spring. So we got plenty of work ahead of us in the wet weather. So I got some 3/8 by 1 inch flat bar here. We're going to whack that up into 11.5-inch lengths. Should work out perfect. We're going to put a cleat on every other track, and then all that 4x4 square tube down there is what's going to make up our rollover protection cage. all 3/8 by 1 inch flat bar. We cut these all up. These are going to go on the track cleats for a little bit of better traction. And we're basically just welding Grouser bar on there. I'm aware that these aren't going to last for a long time because they're just mild steel, but this is a cheap way to achieve what we need to. Anyway, to weld them on there, they really should be beveled, so Buddy's going to sit here at the bench vise and bevel them up. I imagine we're going to be cracking beers and grinding on these for a while. Well, it is the next day, and we're going to start trying to get some of these cleats welded on here first. So yesterday we got all this stock cut, and Buddy put a little bevel on them there. So this looks like it's going to be a great time. A lot of welding, a lot of rod burning. So anyway, the plan here, we will put these like so on every other cleat. And hopefully that should help us quite a bit with some traction. I like to keep it pretty honest with you guys, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, I haven't ever done this before. I have seen it done. Even stood there and handed guys rods while they welded them on, but I've never done it myself, so today's a bit of a learning experience for both of us, I think. All right, so we're going to weld the flat bar onto the first lug of every other pad here. So I'm gonna get those all polished up first so we can get a nice good weld on it. Alright, well I guess I'll go ahead and do my little commentary here before I fire up that welding machine and make all kind of racket. Basically that's what that's going to look like after it's welded on there. I'm using the magnet there to hold it 90 degrees, and then I built this little jig fixture real quick. And what that's going to do is keep the bars all the same distance from the edge, and that should be centered in the track here. And I'm going to go ahead and tack each end of it first, and then take the magnet and the jig away, and then just using my little propane torch here, I'm going to heat it up and take all the chill out of it. And I'll show you when I do that. You'll be able to kind of watch the moisture wick away from everything, and then we'll know that it's good and hot, and we can go ahead and lay a nice bead in there on each side, fully welded all the way around, and hope that it doesn't go anywhere. There was a time when I was good at welding, but I think that time has passed. I don't do it enough anymore. We need a little more heat too. Well then, it is the next day. The weather has been improving, as you can no doubt tell in the last time lapse. But I got the tops of both sides done, so I guess we're ready to try to fire this pig back up and back it up so I can do another set. I tell you what, I have no affiliation with Forney nor Hobart Electric, but the difference between Hobart welding rods and the Forney, both 7018s, both brand new boxes, the difference was astounding. The Hobarts weld so much better than the Forneys. That laid in way nicer than the opposite side here, which was done with the Forney. It just, I thought I was really sucking, and it turns out it's just bad electrodes by the seams of it, because I was really happy with my welds for the rest of this after I switched over to these Hobarts. Well, I wanted to crank up this machine right now so that I can move it back and get the tracks to where I can weld on some more cleats. And we have a problem, I think I mentioned earlier in the video. So this battery here, dead celled. It's no bueno. This one here is still mediocre at best. This battery is just my little battery I've been using for a jump pack. It only has like, it's rated for 925 cranking amps at 0, but let me tell you, put a load tester on it, it doesn't put that out. So the old girl just does not want to pop off. It is pretty cold out here today. A glow plug that even shot a little bit of brake cleaner in there, nothing. So there is something we can do here. So if you got yourself a welding machine, you basically have a jump starter that'll jump start just about anything. Now, there is some danger in doing this, so I'm going to show you how to do it without hurting anything. So we'll fire up our welder. And just for now, we're going to let it idle down. That says 15 to 25 volts on it. So that means that at the very bottom of the fine setting here, we should be at 15 volts. But we got to double check that before we hurt something. So get your multimeter, set that to 200 so we don't screw the multimeter up. And you got to make sure that you have your machine set to DC electrode positive. Which just means that this part is on the plus and your ground is on the minus. Alright, now we're at low idle, so this reading is not accurate because when we connect to our battery, it's going to jump the idle up to high. So we got to click this thing at the high idle to get an accurate reading. Okay, so we're still in a safe zone because we're jumping a 24 volt system. And even 17 volts, you can jump a 12 volt system, but I wouldn't leave it on there very long. Turn this guy up a little bit. Alright, 28 volts is right where I want to be. That's what I think has enough juice to jump the batteries on this thing. So let's go ahead and hook them up and give her. Alright, we got our ground on there, and in this case I'm actually going to hook up the positive to this positive because I have this battery looped in here. And yeah, here goes nothing. Alright, so I can tell that we definitely have good connection here. We'll preheat it for 30 seconds. And hopefully this thing pops off. This has got to be a YouTube record for longest cold start ever. There we go, she's finally kicking in. Oh, it's glorious. Look at the chooch. Awesome. Oh, it's a few days later here. It's warmed up a bit, so that's good. But we got all of our cleats welded on here. They've all got a nice coating of rust on them already just from sitting out here. It rained all day yesterday. But the cleats look good. I'm happy with that. Hopefully it works out. It looks like I got a seal out of a track roller down there. So the next thing on the agenda here now is we're going to go ahead and turn this 4-inch square tube into a roll cage, or ROPS, or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully it never gets used as a roll protection, but the main idea here is when you're pushing trees over, it's going to keep any stray limbs from coming back and hitting you, or if God forbid something would go wrong and the tree come at you, it doesn't crush you, it only hits the cage and keeps you alive. The machine is sacrificial at that point, but hopefully we don't ever have to use it for anything. Hopefully it's just a cautionary thing like wearing a seatbelt and carrying a gun. So I guess the first pieces we're going to cut here are going to be our back 2 legs for the cage. I'm going to bring a piece up on either side there, and we'll bring them up and figure out what our distance is between there, and then we're going to bring up 2 pieces off the front here. Anyways, these are not factory mounts. Somebody put these things on here, and I'm going to just run with the mounts that they already have because they do look like they're pretty well built. They're pretty stout 1/2-inch plate. The welds all look good on them, and I think that they're going to be just fine for what we're doing. All right, well, every single time I show my chop saw here on the channel, I get a ton of comments asking about it and where you can get one. So if you're interested, I'll leave an affiliate link down in the description. All right, looking pretty good, really.
Where's the data go to you?
Yeah, to me. Hold it. That might be it right there. It's on. Put some coil on all of our nuts here because we're going to be running these things in and out a bunch of times, and I don't think, doesn't look like they've been out in quite a while. That sounds like your wallet opening up, Brad.
This little squeaker.
Oh yeah, I heard that last night at the bar.
Boy, you
I know. Got a little bit of leverage on this one. Oh yeah. Just a little lever. Well, Bradley's the muscle here. That was a magic touch there, then.
Royal, not the magic touch. Ooh! Oh, shit. There we go. Whole thing over, it might go the next one. I think it will.
Turn
on. You're right on.
Counterclockwise.
Turn around. There you go.
Good enough. All right. Well, it's big and ugly, but it's going to be protection. Alright, well I picked this trick up from DeBoss Garage's Instagram the other day. So I don't have proper center punches, or transfer punches rather, but take a socket that fits in the hole snug, and now your punch should fit right in there. Get it pretty darn good. Whew. A lot of people are always curious about pricing. That first batch of steel I got with the tubing was 900 and something, 990 something. This one was $491 just for one sheet of plate. All right, well, I just picked up this 4x10 sheet of 1/4-inch plate, and we're going to use that for the roof, and there should be enough plate left over that we're going to be able to cut some gussets out of it. And I want to add some, I'd like to add some plate gussets to the corners here, and I think that'll help keep things rigid as well as seal up the ends of the tube, make things look a little bit better. All right, so we'll take our steel plate here, wipe this off so we don't ruin a marker. gonna cut some gussets here to strengthen up that cage a little bit. There's one gusset. All right, well, we got all our plates cut and dressed up here, and I'm gonna have to adjust this big one a little bit, but basically that's the gist of it right there. It's gonna be a gusset, and I just have to trim that end off that sticks out past the edge ever so slightly. Back here in the back, we're gonna put these on like that, and that'll gusset up the frame, make it stronger, plus cap off the holes in the tubing. Well, it's a bummer here, but I just discovered that the cage is actually out of square somehow or another. Plus my plate, I got a little teeny off on my cut. So, you know, it tapers from front to back a little bit. I did know that. But I cannot get the overlaps right for the life of me. They will not square up. If you get one side square, the other side's bad out of square. So you just got to cheat them both to be slightly out of square. And it's pretty much as good as I can get it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna have to live with it. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for what we're doing. So, time to weld it. Well, boys and girls, it is the next day. I finally got all the welding done on this pig, and I think it turned out pretty good. I still got a bunch of slag to chip off and wire wheel up some stuff, and a few little ugly spots I'll hit with the grinder, dress them up a little bit. But overall, I think it turned out really good. I'm happy with it. It did rain last night, so we got a little bit of rust starting already, but we're about done. I'm gonna clean it up and throw a little coat of paint on it here, and then we're gonna go see if we can't shove us over a tree, huh? As you can tell, the paint job on this machine is not exactly stellar. This isn't a beauty queen or a showpiece, so we're gonna go the quick and dirty route here. Got our can of Rust-Oleum and a roller, and we're just gonna have at it. Channeling my inner Bob Ross today. Oh yeah, that's some cat yellow if I've ever seen it. It's a little chilly out here, so I did heat the whole cage up with the rosebud here first. I didn't get it real hot, just take the chill out of the metal. Otherwise, I don't think this paint would set up on here. Well, there's a big old root ball right there. Just a little sample test of the new grousers, and so far a lot better traction, because I think we tried to push this one over before and no dice. This is probably a 75-foot tree, pretty big boy, but they're wanting to clear out this whole area for pasture, so that'll be the next part you see with the 977. Here. It's my hand for size. That's a big boy, but the 977 pulled it off without problem. And the paint job turned out all right for a brush and roller deal. I put a bead of silicone in around the roof plate there so that we don't get any water between the welds and rotting out between the plate and the box tube. At least that's the idea. But it's all right. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for what we're doing, so I'm happy with it. And it should keep us safe while we're out here working on a hillside and knocking down some big trees. All right, so there we go. A successful first test of the temporary grouser bars we welded on here. They provided excellent traction in shoving that tree over. And the ROPS that we built provided excellent protection should that tree have come back at me like it almost did for a second. I don't know if you can tell in the video. I thought it was starting to go, so I backed away from it, and it started coming right back at me, sitting back where it wanted. So she was stubborn, but the old 977 made short work of her. So anyways, we're going to have some videos coming up real soon of doing a bunch of clearing out here at my buddy's place, and we're going to be taking out a whole bunch of trees and pushing brush piles and carrying logs and all sorts of stuff with this thing. So it's going to get a workout, and hopefully you guys are interested in seeing that, because it's coming whether you like it or not. As always, guys, if you like the video, don't forget to give it a big old thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. Doesn't cost you guys a thing. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so I can catch you on the next episode. Thanks for watching. Later.